Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm filming the no disclaimers book tag. As always, I will link the creator's video down below as well as all the questions. So let's just get into the tag. Question number 1, which trope or tropes in books annoy you the most? And for this, I'm gonna go with love triangles. I hate them so much. I think because I read so many love triangles in YA, and like I remember that was a huge theme, like to always have love triangles. So even in like romance novels now, like I absolutely hate it. And a lot of the times I won't read a book because it has a love triangle in it. Or I'll wait till like all of the books are out and then find out who ends up together at the end. And then I'll read the entire series and like know who to root for. You know? I also hate the trope of like the dead spouse or whatever, the dead partner. I really don't like that trope. Sometimes it can be done really, really well. And what I mean by this is like usually two characters are together and then the one character dies and then a new character comes in the picture and it's like happily ever after. And sometimes it's usually like a friend or like a sibling or like whatever, and it's so weird to me. Like I've read it in some books like Unbreak My Heart by Nicole Jacqueline deals with that topic where her best friend dies and she basically gets with her like husband. It's a little weird, but like it annoys me when it's not done right. And I also hate, I don't know if this is like a trope, but like the crazy ex-girlfriend. I hate that. It's more of like a plot. I do not like that. I just don't agree with it. 2, which writer or writers do you feel are overrated or overhyped? I'm gonna go with Tihan. Is that how you say her name? I'm not sure. I've only read one book by her, Anti-Stepbrother, and it was alright, but like it didn't necessarily make me want to keep reading her books. But I've heard like her books are better and better. So I don't know, but I do feel like maybe she's a little overhyped. Kay Webster, I've read several of her books as well and she's alright, whatever. I will say Megan March. So I have read like at least 15 of Megan's books and a lot of them are misses in my opinion. Like not a lot of her books are my favorites. I literally love only 2 of her trilogies so far, the Mount trilogy and then the Savage Prince trilogy. I don't know what that trilogy is called. Maybe it's just called Savage. Those 2 trilogies I love. I haven't read her newest one, the Deal with the Devil trilogy. I haven't read that one yet, but all of her other books, eh. Number 3, what are your least favorite books you've read since joining BookTube? Fun fact, there hasn't been really necessarily one romance book that I read because of BookTube. I find all of my romance books like through Goodreads. I never really find them from BookTube. So I'm just gonna go with some that I've read since joining BookTube that I just found on my own and didn't really enjoy. Naughty Boss by Whitney G. It's alright. I find I have a lot of misses with Whitney G. I haven't really found a book of hers that I loved as much as Sincerely Carter, I think. All her other books I haven't really enjoyed since that one, so I don't know. Trigger by Scarlett Dawn. Nope, did not like that one. Oh, The Nerdy and the Dirty. I was so excited for this book and did not like it. It is YA. Like it deals with some pretty like important topics. I feel like it talks a lot about sex in YAs. I feel like it's somewhat important, but I didn't like the execution of that book. I don't know, and it just felt weird that like a man wrote it and kind of like over-sexualized the female character. I don't know, whatever. Terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book. This took me a really long time to think of an answer, but I think I'm gonna go with A Bloody Kingdom by J.J. McAvoy. I really love the series. However, I feel like all I can think about when I think of this book is the ending and like what happened. That plot twist, that situation, I hated it so much. It made me despise the female character. it made me hate Melody, which is so stupid. I didn't like that. I hated that plotline so much. I just like really hated it. It makes me have like bittersweet feelings towards the Ruthless People series because it's such a good series and it's very well written and developed and just like a really great mafia series. However, I just feel like I have such a love-hate relationship with Melody that it makes me like not love the books as much as I wish I would. Does that make sense? Yeah, I just hated the ending. I mean, it didn't ruin the book for me, obviously, because I still gave the book like 4 stars, almost 5. Honestly, it should have ended at book 3. I don't know what happened, but whatever. 5. Which fictional characters do you wish were not killed off? This also took me a really long time to think about because I couldn't honestly, for the life of me, remember any characters that were killed off in romance books that I read. Like, I could only think of YA answers. I was like, I can't do that. So I finally looked at my shelves and I was like, okay, let's truly think about this. And then I came up with this. I think it happens in this one, right? We all know who I'm talking about. Anyways, that was so sad. I just like couldn't even get over it. I was just heartbroken. Like it was, no, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm obviously not going to say who it was because I don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, that was heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. 6. What are some of your bookish pet peeves? Obviously cover changes like halfway through a series. Those are a major one. I feel like they don't really happen to romance books that often, so it doesn't really bother me that badly, but like it used to bother me so much when like YA books would change halfway through a series. So annoying. Another bookish pet peeve is height differences between books. So I have an example. So for instance, this is my copy of Shatter Me and Unravel Me. They're both paperback editions, but they're 2 different sizes, which is so annoying. Like, I don't know if you can tell on camera that well, but they are literally 2 different sizes, and they're both paperbacks. This one says it's an international edition. I don't really know what that means, but that's a pet peeve of mine. Like, they're both paperbacks. Why would they not line up? I feel like that does happen in romance books a lot. Like when you buy, especially if it's a self-published book, a lot of times the heights won't match up. Number 7, what are some books you feel should have more recognition? Cannot say that word. I have a couple. I'm gonna mention 3. Obviously, Love Game by Tracy Wolff. One of my all-time favorites. More people should read it. It's an amazing romance, suspense, / like erotica book. Highly recommend. I have The Hookup by Kristen Clean. I love this book so much. I feel like one of the first sports romance that I ever read back in the day. Like I read this back when it had that ugly cover. Yeah, like 2014. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I read this shortly after it first came out and I just remember loving this. I really want to reread this, but it was so good and I feel like more people should read this, talk about it, love it. Also, another one is The Contract by Melanie Moreland. This is like a enemies to lovers / marriage of convenience. So good, so great. Highly recommend. This basically follows a guy who needs to get married, and so he asks his personal assistant to pretend to be his fiance, and they'll get married for a certain amount of time and then go their separate ways. But you know, they fall in love and all that jazz. So super cute. Highly recommend. 8. What are your thoughts on censorship and banning books? I feel like I have the same opinion as everybody else. I mean, it's not cool. I obviously feel like I can't really speak on behalf of like YA banning books nowadays because I don't really read YA that much. I mean, obviously there are so many romance books that I read that a lot of people would probably love to ban or like deem inappropriate or whatever. But I mean, also it's romance books and I'm like in my 20s, so it's different. I feel like this more applies to like YA and banning like certain books. They always want to ban books that are like eye-opening to teens, and it's like because they want to keep them sheltered, which is really ridiculous. I personally don't think like banning books or like censoring books is going to solve anything. Like if anything, it's going to make that teen want to try to find that book even more and like want to try to read it because they're like, oh no, it's banned. Like I need to know what happens in that book that like somebody would ban it. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like it helps anything. I mean, banning books is not cool. It's not great. Number 9, who do you tag? I tag anybody who wants to do this tag. If you want to do it in the comments, go ahead. So that is it for this tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!